Schönen guten Tag, mein Name ist Axel vom Gutscheinpony. Wir drehen heute eine weitere Folge für den Freisprecher und die Gründerszene. Und wenn wir das hier so ein bisschen sehen, wir sind hier nicht in der Badeanstalt, wenn die Kameraführung mal so ein bisschen mitgeht. Nein, wir sind hier live und in Farbe im Shore Club. Und zwar ist der Shore Club in Miami South Beach. Und das Gute daran ist, wir haben hier die Möglichkeit, mal ein paar internationalere Gäste zu interviewen. Und heute haben wir jemanden, der in ganz vielen europäischen Ländern mit seiner Firma aktiv ist und natürlich im Internet. Und zwar im Bereich Meinungsforschung. Und das Gute daran ist, er hat die gesamte Ernährungskette schon einmal mit durchgemacht, nämlich er hat erfolgreich gegründet, erfolgreich betrieben und erfolgreich auch einen Exit gemacht. Besser gesagt, äußerst erfolgreich. Und deswegen möchte ich euch jetzt hier live und in Farbe aus Miami vorstellen, Mr. Han. Han, my dear friend, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. Happy to meet you here in Miami. And you are doing something in the internet?
Yes, I have.
Like
been.
what?
I run a company called Matrix Lab. I think you just told it. We do Meinungsforschung.
Ja, Matrix Labs, genau. Meinungsforschung ganz groß.
But we're specialized in advertising research and advertising tracking.
Okay.
So what we do, we track for large advertisers' performance of their advertising campaigns.
How do you come up with the idea?
Long story, 12 years ago.
Okay, we have time.
Especially if you're in Miami, it's been a very long time. But it was a rough ride, starting as a pretty much one-man show. And today Matrix Lab employs like 130 or 140 people. And I think you made the introduction there. We work in 35 countries in the world.
35, also ich meine, was ist denn da bitte los?
Where we do the measurements and we operate offices in 7 countries.
Okay.
And the company's in good shape. Our biggest competitor is a company called Millward Brown. It has more than $1 billion in revenues. But
Sounds interesting.
So we have a way to go. We're not yet there. We're not yet there, but we're doing well.
Okay, yeah. The point is, if you say, okay, you started out as a one-man show, what was the biggest challenge, would you say?
The biggest challenge was finding and keeping excellent people.
The biggest challenge is to hire people, right? So are there any other challenges you would tell us about and say, hey, take care of this, take care of that, that's important?
Yes, basically apart from the people, it's having good technology in place, and then a key challenge is, especially if you start in a small home market like we did in the Netherlands, is what do you do and where do you go first? And we decided to stick and stay in Europe for quite a long while, maybe in hindsight a little bit too long, because basically this market where we currently are, and then it's not Miami, but the US market is a huge one. And I think we discovered that too late, and we're about to enter the market, or we've started last year in this market, but we're doing really, really well. So I think defining which markets you move to first is a key challenge and an important question that you have to answer.
You see, we have an audience who is interested in raising money. How would you recommend them to raise it then? What's the best idea to talk to people, to go to different events? How do you manage it?
Good question. I mean, I think what basically is important to raise in the very beginning as little money as possible, because that broadens the number of venture capital companies that could work with you. Because if you want to raise a lot of money in the beginning relatively to the size of your company, it doesn't work. You have great stories, big PowerPoints, people listen to you, but nobody moves, nobody actions, and I think that's a waste of time. So if you really start up, focus on getting the first 10,000 from your family, then the second turn a couple 100,000 from a small
family, friends, and fools.
Exactly, and the last one is yes, you know who to go to. But anyway, no joke.
Yes, klar. Okay,
you got it.
No, therefore it's too late now.
Okay.
So there are not any fools who gave you money. I understood.
No, so it was like we raised in the beginning quite a lot of money, a couple of millions. But I think in hindsight, it's better to do this in steps. First, the family, then a couple 100,000 local venture capital company, and then once the company is really doing well, and you can show the market that you're doing well and that you're scalable and that you can improve your performance just by hiring more people, for example, or for extending your technology, then move to a real big serious round. Not to do the round too early, too fast. It looks easy, it's not. Another
very important question for many of our audience. The point is, how do you sell the company? How do you get into that?
Good point. Well, I think basically if the company is doing really well, it sells itself.
So people ask you, hey, are you willing to sell?
Investors know their market. They know which companies do well. If you have, if you do more than whatever 20-30% EBITDA and you're growing top line 25-30% plus, investors know this. They just do their research, and good investors do the research well, so they know how to find you. The key question then is how to sell it at a good price.
Okay.
That just requires, speaking to a lot of venture
because they all have a different opinion about the price. You have a different opinion than they do.
They need to make money, and you want to make money, and that sometimes is challenging.
So and now, as you sold your company, how did it feel when you got the money on your bank account? How did it feel? Was it different?
Yeah, basically the objective was not so much the money, but it relaxes, and that's what it really does. It gives you a little bit, it broadens your view, it gives you some air, and after 10 years working day and night, as a lot of internet entrepreneurs do.
It's not just a hobby, right?
It's
beyond that.
It's beyond that, and maybe it started as some kind of hobby, but afterwards it becomes a regular job, and you work for your investors, and you work hard day and night, and it's challenging. And then after a while, after 10 years, if you get some kind of reward back, it's satisfying. It's good. It feels good.
And you founded a fund, is that right?
Correct.
And now you are helping our audience to build up their own companies. So how do you manage that?
Correct. The fund is called VOC Capital Partners, and your audience may track it at voccp.com.
American.
And we finance small startups, 350k, 500k per investment.
Which sounds pretty much. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but
that's early stage, right?
Very early stage. So usually these companies just have their technology in place, no revenues. But
is technology an asset today? Is it?
It's a good question. I don't think it's an asset today anymore. But if something works, if you can demonstrate it, that helps. And then we look at the business model, we see if it's scalable, and we decide whether we invest or not.
What do you think? What's the future internet-wise? What's coming up? What do we have to be excited about it?
I think we'll see a real revolution in mobile devices being used for multiple applications, and I think we all know, and all your audience knows what the real trends are. But that's basically what I think will happen, and it will. I have to say, and I have to admit a little bit, because I started 12 years ago. I didn't think that social media would be that big as they are today. So we're
all addicted
a little bit, but we are addicted. And if you're single, and if you're bachelor, and I know you are, then we have the real addicts there.
Okay, thank you so much for this hidden compliment. In this case, Han, it was my pleasure.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, you take care, and I cross my fingers for you.
Okay, for you too. Bye bye, my friend.
So.
Bye.